Pick it up at verse 19.
Okay, verse 19. Thus said the Lord unto me, go and stand in the gate of the children of the people, whereby the kings of Judah come in, and by the which they go out, and in all the gates of Jerusalem. And say unto them, hear ye the word of the Lord, ye kings of Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem that enter in by these gates. Thus saith the Lord, take heed to yourselves, and bear no burden on the Sabbath day.
All right, well, first of all, what's going on here? Why is Jeremiah the prophet talking about this? The other 10 tribes, they already got taken out. All right? So they already got taken out, and before you get going further, read 17 and 1. Read verse 1 so we can know what we lead to. Go ahead.
The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron,
Go ahead.
and with the point of a diamond.
Go ahead.
It is graven upon the table of their heart, and upon the horns of your altars.
Keep going.
Whilst their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills.
Why is he talking like this? Because you should have seen, they started adopting what Israel was doing, the northern tribes. And they should have known better. So when they seen that the Lord removed Israel out, that should have corrected them right then. Like, man, I'm not going to fall in, but we are hard-headed, stiff-necked people. All right, now, so go ahead, turn back over and finish reading where you was at. Pick it up at verse, where was you at?
21.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, take heed to yourselves, and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
Neither carry forth a burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day.
Go ahead.
Neither do ye any work, but hallow ye the Sabbath day, as I commanded your fathers.
Keep going.
But they obeyed not, neither inclined their ear, but made their neck stiff, that they might not hear, nor receive instruction.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass, if ye diligently hearken unto me, saith the Lord, to bring in no burden through the gates of this city on the Sabbath day, but hallow the Sabbath day, to do no work therein.
Then what's going to happen?
Then shall there enter into the gates of the city kings and princes sitting upon the throne of David, riding in chariots and on horses, they and their princes, the men of Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And this city shall remain forever.
See that? And this city shall remain forever. All right? There's already said that their sins are already written with with a diamond pen, right? Is that what it said at 17 and 1?
Diamond pen.
With a pen of iron. With the
And a
point of a diamond. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's there. Diamond is one of the hardest stones there. So it's written. So you already sinning against me. But really if you keep the Sabbath day, I'm going to work with you. God has, in essence, bent over backwards to ensure that his people will have a place to stay and where they can be governed by their own laws. He tried to until it was no remedy, and then it just had his being made judgment come down. So now, verse 26, read.
And they shall come from the cities of Judah, and from the places about Jerusalem.
Where else?
And from the land of Benjamin.
Where else?
And from the plain, and from the mountains, and from the south, bringing burnt
How come he ain't say nothing about the north?
It was gone.
Because the north is gone. And the Lord said they're going to remain gone until he come back and get them. You know what I'm saying? Because Jeroboam made them transgress in the most debaucherous way. He made 2 golden calves. You know what I'm saying? And put one in Bethel and one in Shiloh. You know what I'm saying? Where they make people to transgress the Lord. So he's like, man, I'm not doing it. Then he fired the Levites. That's why the Levites came down to be where Judah's at. You know, there's Levites in every city anyway, because they don't have no inheritance. But he fired the Levites, man. And they went down there with Judah. So you have Benjamin, Judah, and then Levi there. That's why most of the people that got scattered out, they're either from one of them 3 tribes. Of course, it could be some more tribes that had sense out of Manasseh and all them other cats that came. Could be, but it's very few and far between. The rest of them 12 tribes, they all scattered in Africa. West Africa to be exact. Okay? So now, go ahead.
Bringing burnt offerings and sacrifices and meat offerings and incense and bringing sacrifices of praise unto the house of the Lord.
So the city would remain forever, and all the surrounding countries would be there forever if they don't bring no burdens, and really they hallow the Sabbath day. Now, on a flip, if they don't, here it is. This is the answer to your question. Go ahead.
But if ye will not hearken unto me to hallow the Sabbath day, and not to bear a burden, even entering in at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then will I kindle a fire in the gates thereof, and it shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem, and it shall not be quenched.
Get it? Go to Jeremiah 25. It ain't going to be quenched then. Jeremiah 25, pick it up at verse 1.
The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, that was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. The which Jeremiah the prophet spake unto all the people of Judah and all to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying,
What'd he say?
From the 13th year of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah, even unto this day, that is the 23rd year, the word of the Lord hath come unto me.
And what was he doing?
And I have spoken unto you, rising early and speaking, but ye have not hearkened.
That's the issue. I've been trying to tell you, the Lord going to bring something on y'all. Y'all ain't hearkening. Y'all not doing what I'm trying to tell you to do. And then this is where, the Babylonian captivity is going to come into play. Keep reading.
And the Lord hath sent unto you all his servants the prophets, rising early and sending them. But ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear. They said, Turn ye again, now every one from his evil way, and from the evil of your doings, and dwell in the land that the Lord hath given unto you and to your fathers forever and ever.
Keep going.
And go not after other gods to serve them and to worship them, and provoke me not to anger with the works of your hands, and I will do you no hurt.
But what happened?
Yet ye have not hearkened unto me, saith the Lord.
From the voice of the prophet, right? Because the prophets, they've been going and telling them, rising early, look, stop serving these other gods. Stop committing trespass against God. You keep trying to tell them over and over again not to do it, but they wouldn't hearken until there was no remedy. Now I'm going to bring this upon you. Now you're not going to be in your land. Now you're going to go to somebody else's land. Go ahead.
Yet ye have not hearkened unto me, saith the Lord, that ye might provoke me to anger with the works of your hands to your own hurt.
So therefore, what's going to happen?
Therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, because ye have not heard my words, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord, and Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land, and against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment, and an hissing and perpetual desolations.
11.
And this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment. And these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years.
All right, there it is. You know what I mean? The 7-year captivity of Judah. And we know prophetically, that's a prophetic 70 years too, as well as like spiritual. So at the end of like the real 70 years, prophetically, Jesus is going to come, and at the end of his ministry, the last 3.5 years is going to end that 70-year captivity. Like, it's not because Daniel, he was going past the 70 years. Daniel was a child when he went into captivity with Nebuchadnezzar. He went well into the Persian captivity. You know what I'm saying? Longer than 7 years. He was like, yo, man, this thing's over and done with. That's why he prayed to the Lord. And Daniel like, hey, I understood by prophecy, by the books of Jeremiah, that we're supposed to have a 70-year captivity. But he's like, yo, this is longer. We should have been back by now. And then that's when he started getting revelations from Gabriel, what's going on, what's going on. He said, didn't in Daniel, look what he said. Go to Daniel, what's that, 9, I think it is? Daniel 9. Nine and 23. Just get where it's at.
At the beginning of thy supplications, the commandment came forth, and I am come to show thee, for thou art greatly beloved. Therefore understand the matter, and consider the vision.
All right, what do you say?
70 weeks are determined upon thy people.
So now them 70 years came in 70 weeks. So they're weeks of years. So, you know, that's 483 years. That's what it's supposed to be. That's 69 weeks, right? So listen, a bunch of the 69 weeks get ate up. It gets ate up. But when Jesus came, he's in like the 69th. He's in the 69th week when Jesus steps on the scene. All right? Man, I got to get this the right way. Because he does, that's 483 years. It's going to go to 490. That'll be complete. So now, in 3.5 years, the last 7 years of the captivity for Israel, before they're back in their land, you know what I mean? Jesus is going to come in the last 7 years of it. His first 7 years started when he stepped on the scene. How long was his ministry for? 3.5 years. And he stopped. So that means he's still got 3.5 years left to do it. He's going to complete his 3.5 years when he come back the second time. That's when we're going to be in the wilderness. Y'all get it? So that 70-week prophecy isn't going to be complete until Jesus come back the second time. Okay? So now watch. I'm going to show you. So now look, what do you say?
70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city.
All right, go ahead.
To finish the transgression.
Now this is what's going to happen. Out of these 70 weeks, which started off as 70 years, Israel is going to be out of Judea or Jerusalem, because the Lord said, as long as you are away or out of Judah, the land is going to keep its Sabbath. Because y'all was blowing the Sabbath day. You was blowing all the Sabbaths. So I tell you what, well, they're going to keep their Sabbath as long as you up out of it. So you had 70 years to be done with it. But I'm gonna take you a step further. 70 weeks is determined upon it. Because by the time they get back into their land, Israel's going to be well out of captivity. They're going to be in captivity for mad years. Jesus' ministry will be complete after he does all these things, right? After he does all what he's about to start reading from 24 on down. What has to happen out of his ministry and out of them being away out of the captivity, out of Jerusalem being in their land. Because the next time our people go back into the land, God going to be here. Ain't nobody going to transgress. Everything's going to be right. Yes, sir.
So he's still in the 70 weeks.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. All the way down to this time. You know what I'm saying? So now watch. Said this was going to happen. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon the holy city. To do what?
To finish the transgression.
We still have transgression going on, don't we, right here? So after the 70 weeks, all transgression is going to be on. Ain't nobody going to be transgressing nothing. All right? What else?
And to make an end of sins.
Is sins ended right now?
Yeah.
There's people still sinning. But at the end of this 70 weeks, ain't going to be no more sinning. God going to be done establish his kingdom here, and that's it. Go ahead.
And to make reconciliation for iniquity.
Make reconciliation for iniquity. That has happened. Now that has happened. When did he make reconciliation for the iniquity? When he died on the cross.
On the cross.
All right. So some things have yet to happen, and some things have happened. Keep reading.
And to bring in everlasting righteousness,
and
to seal up the vision and prophecy.
Yeah, see, to seal up the vision and prophecy. That means that in Revelation it says it is finished. You know what I mean? That's when it's done. Seal it all up. Go ahead.
And to anoint the most holy.
All right, that happened too, right? Now that happened. When did the most holy get anointed? Then who anointed Jesus? Who's only able to anoint Jesus? One that's greater than he. Remember, John the Baptist said, I'm not able to unloosen a shoe on it. He said, latchet on his sandal. But the Lord said, let it become you, for thus it becomes us that all prophecy be fulfilled. So he had to do that. But who can anoint him? Only somebody higher can anoint him. Who's higher than Jesus? The Father. That's why the Holy Spirit descended upon him like a dove. And then what was the voice that was afterward? This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Now he's anointed to be king and priest. But hey, he got to be proven. So what was the very next thing that had to happen? He had to go into the wilderness to be tested just like Adam did. And then after he was tested and he overcame, he had to see Satan just like Adam had to see Satan. You know what I'm saying? At all points he was tested, yet without sin. All right? So then after he was tested, what happened? That's when he started his ministry. 3.5 years. All in all, how old was he? 30. Where you get that from? Numbers chapter 1. It tells you about anybody entering into the service of the priesthood or anything, got to start at when? 30 years old. Everything's done in order according to how it goes. Okay? We understand that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Where we at? It says
25.
Seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy. All right, yeah, go ahead. 25.
Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks.
7 weeks, 7 weeks, and 62 weeks. What's that? 69, right? That's 69 weeks. So from the going of the commandment, that's why I say for most of the commandment, most of that time, that 70-week time is all chewed up. It gets chewed up between here and between when Artaxerxes. Is it Artaxerxes that make the proclamation where you can go back to Jerusalem and eat? A whole bunch of time got ate up in that 70-week time. You know what I'm saying? That's like 400. It's like 483 years, and you can actually do the math. Like the math's all out there, from Nebuchadnezzar's time to where it got all the way down to where Artaxerxes and all that, where the temple got rebuilt again. It takes up all that time because you remember they did the temple. They built the temple even in troublous times. You know what I'm saying? All that time got ate up because the temple had to be built again so that Christ can come in Jerusalem. You understand? And that's why the second temple had to be tore down. You know what I mean? So that this third temple can be built. Everything has to do with prophecy. So when Christ came, he had to die. That's why in Matthew 24 it tells him, hey, when the disciples was all geeked over the temple, he said, man, he said, not one stone will be standing on top of another. That should not be thrown down. Because the question was, what was the question? When is the temple going to be destroyed? What's going to be the sign of your coming in the time of the end of the world? And he tells them, all right, along with a whole bunch of other stuff in there. But now, let's get down here. So I can show you that in the midst of his ministry, it stopped. So, read 25 again, bro.
Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks.
So that's 69 weeks until the Messiah steps on the scene. From this time all the way up, right? No, from the time of the commandment to come out. You know what I mean? From the time that Artaxerxes says, hey, rebuild the temple. From that time, it's 69 weeks until the Messiah, the Prince. Okay? So when they get back in the land, it's going to be from when Artaxerxes say, hey, you get the decree to go back to your land and go back there, you start counting from then all the way to where Jesus steps on the scene. Go ahead.
The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times.
Right, go ahead.
And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off.
Ooh, so after 62 weeks, he gonna get cut off, right? So he gonna be right at because of 70 weeks a year, right? So what's that? 483? Yeah, there's 483 and a half years. That's where it's gonna be at. He get cut off. because 7 more years after that gives you the 490. All right, good. All right, so go ahead.
but not for himself.
So he's going to get cut off, not for himself. When?
And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined.
Right, all right, so now go ahead. Get to where he got to confirm this covenant. Go ahead.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
All right, so that's a prophetic week. So 1 week is 7 years. All right?
Okay.
In the middle of 7 years, that's 3.5, correct? What's going to happen?
And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation. And that determined shall be poured upon desolate.
So listen, it says
the desolate.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. What caused the sacrifice and oblation to cease? What happened? The veil split, right? So there's nothing to block to bring the animal sacrifice or the blood, because they had the priest had to dip their finger in the blood and hit it 7 times upon the veil. But if ain't no veil there, he caused the sacrifice and oblation to cease. Okay, that's all. So when is he going to start this up again? When he comes back. So when you go to Ezekiel, so look, because remember, we have to finish. He has to finish transgressions, make an end of sins. They ain't gonna happen there. Well, let's see when you make an end of sin, because when you go to Ezekiel 20, because once all Israel, there's already going to be people in the wilderness, right? Before the Lord comes back. But when he actually steps on the scene, what's going to happen? He's going to destroy the world down to the ground, and then he's going to send out fishers and hunters to hunt all the rest of Israel that's not already in the wilderness. And then he's going to bring them to the wilderness again, and then he's going to bring them under the rod of the covenant. You understand? And all the rebels, what are you going to do? Purge out. Because ain't nobody's going to go into Jerusalem sinning against the Lord. I mean, that's pretty plain. Is that straight? Everybody understand that? All right, let's go. Ezekiel 20. What did it say? I'm sorry. And look, if there any questions on my phone, please. All right. And let me know if there's any questions online, because I don't have my what's name up there. Pick it up like around 33. Go ahead.
As I live, saith the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, will I rule over you.
Go ahead.
And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered.
See, but that's scattered in the country. There's already people in the wilderness, the ones that escaped the abomination of desolation, that knew to flee. They already in the wilderness. They in the secret place of the Most High already. That sounds like you all right, where the angel ain't gonna let them dash their foot against a stone or anything. They got it real good. Go ahead.
Where ye are scattered with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out.
Go ahead.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face.
There we go. Go ahead.
Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith the Lord God.
And what is he going to do? 37.
And I will cause you to pass under the rod.
And do what?
And I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
See that? He doing it once again. So that for that last 3.5 years, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be quick too. You know what I mean? He gonna bring him in the bond of the covenant. Okay. Go ahead.
And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Lord.
They're not going to enter into the land of Israel until y'all all get right. You understand? You're going to be right when you enter into the land of the ain't gonna be no bucket. So that's it. You know what I mean? You straight? You good on that, brother? All praises to the Most High. Then. Anything else? I'm so cold. Yes.
I was wondering if, like what is okay to do on Sabbath? Like, is drawing okay? Is going on TikTok? Is looking at certain non-biblical things okay on Sabbath?
Well, the simplest way to, good question, Abby, too. The simplest way to think about it is doing your own pleasures. Something that you feel like you can do all week, you separate the Lord and say, I'm going to put it away from you. So let's look. We're going to look at a couple places. We already know that we can't cook on the Sabbath, right? We know we can't work on the Sabbath or go to your job where you're making money. That's already a given. All right? We're supposed to have a holy convocation, meaning a holy gathering wherever the Lord has set his name up. You know? So being at home is not having a holy convocation. You know what I mean? So, what if I'm bedridden? Well, if you're not bedridden, then I understand. If you're not sick unto death, then the Lord understands that. But if you're able to get to a Sabbath class, you need to get there. All right? Let's go look at Glenn, where do we go look at? Where do we go look at to find out about the pleasures and stuff like that?
Isaiah.
Yes, sir. Isaiah what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You do
I know
know.
what it says.
Isaiah 50 what?
54.
Let's look at Isaiah 50. 56, I think. 58. There it is. 56 is what? Let me see. Oh, yeah. 56 is the people. 58. So let's look at it, Abby. Very good. Isaiah 56. And picking up at verse 13.
58.
58, I'm sorry. Please.
Verse 13.
Isaiah 58 and 13. Let's look and see. Go ahead.
Thy foot from the Sabbath,
Uh-huh.
from doing thy pleasure on my holy day.
All right, so now that could be up for speculation. Well, what is thy pleasure? You know, for the most part, we're grown in here, but being that a child has asked us what the pleasure is. You know what I'm saying? Those things that you find pleasurable, that is not even going against the Lord's commandments, but it's taking your time away, and what's the other word I'm looking for? Solemnity. There it is. Solemnity of holding the Lord at a high esteem. Like whatever you can do normally during the week without no issues. You know what I'm saying? And like, let that go and make it all about the Lord. That's the easiest way I can say it. So I'm gonna read another place where it I'll think about it. Lord, give it to me. Where, if anything's pure, if anything, has goodness to be with it, keep your mind stayed on that. You know what I mean? Singing praises unto the Lord, songs that deal with the Lord. Hey, let's make it all about the Lord. Make it a 24-hour event for the Lord. So let's look some more. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call what?
And call the Sabbath a delight,
Uh-huh.
the holy of the Lord honorable.
Honorable, and what else?
And shalt honor him.
So honor him. So, and you honoring God. TikTok. Because you did mention that. What's on TikTok? Tic-tac-toe. What's on TikTok that's honoring God? Most time when I go on TikTok, people are saying their own opinions on there and doing dances and things of that nature that has nothing to do with God. So do you think that would be honoring God? And God gives you enough brain power and matter so you can know. Discernment, thank you, brother, to let you know. Now maybe I shouldn't be looking at this on today. Now they could be just dancing and doing what they want to do. Are they serving God? You got to think about that too. know what I'm saying? So it's like, maybe I'll just put that off for tomorrow. I can look at dancing and people clowning and stuff like that. I can look at that tomorrow. You dig what I'm saying? As far as TikTok is concerned. Me and my family, we watch, if it's not nothing pertaining to biblical shows, we watch Animal Planet. Something that's dealing with the nature, something that God had created. They give me a little bit more insight on that. If it's not a movie about Noah or some of the apostles or whatever. Or we have music playing. Dealing with the Lord. Straight up dealing with the Lord. You know what I mean? But what about if you're married? Can I play some Luther Vandross or some, Nah, because you know what that takes me to? That takes me to the pleasurable things that I do with my wife. And women probably do the same thing with their husbands. So we don't do that. That's going to put us in a situation to where it can compromise me being with the Lord. Now look, when the Lord introduced himself to Israel, right? They came out of Egypt, correct? Moses said, go and tell the people. Wait a second, let's read it. Let's read it. Hold your finger here because we're going to come back. Let's read. Exodus chapter 20. Chapter 19. Exodus chapter 19. And this is the Lord introducing himself to Israel, but you can look at the Sabbath day being a sanctified situation, which it is. You're a crazy boy, you know what I'm saying? So listen. Verse 8, what does it say?
And all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord has spoken we will do.
Okay.
And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord.
All right.
And the Lord said unto Moses, lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes.
So he said, go to the people. Look what he says. Sanctify them or separate them. Let them wash their clothes. They're about to meet the Lord. All right? So this is most definitely a serious event. But although we're not per se seeing the Lord right now, but he has sanctified a day that you may honoring him. So you want to probably be clean also on that day. Wash your clothes up. You might want to make sure you shave and everything is all straight because you're dealing with the Lord on this Sabbath day. That's what I do every week. Every week I clean myself up. I work all week. I may not take a shower every day, but I'm making sure I'm going to take a shower before I come here. Y'all don't want to smell me. Yeah, and plus I'm doing this before the Lord, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So now what he say?
And be ready against the third day.
All right, go out here. Read verse 14. What it say?
And Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people.
And what else?
And they washed their clothes.
Keep going.
And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day.
And what else?
Come not at your wives.
Man, this day is so important that you don't even be intimate with your loved one. You know what I mean? With your wife and husband, don't even be intimate. You hear? Mm-hmm. So that's serious. That's a pleasure that we can do 6 days a week. Yeah. But that's to the Lord. No, you don't even do that. And the Lord tells you today, defraud ye not one another, right? As wives and husbands, except for a time. So there's definitely a time where that can happen. Mm-hmm. The time of the month, lady, and then also when you fast and when you pray, and then also on the Sabbath day. All right? That's one of your pleasures. But what about drinking? What about smoking? What about watching TikTok? I'm going to deal with all the whole situation, even though if I find out you drinking and smoking, then we're going to talk with your mom about something. But these are pleasures that's not going to send you to the lake with the snake, but they can be done. You got 6 days to do these things. You know what I mean? And most certainly, most certainly, if you, the Lord tells you it's not nothing wrong with having a glass of wine here and there, you know, you may even can have a glass of wine on the Sabbath day, but as far as getting drunk or anything, you don't do that. What if you don't never drink wine? Never, ever drink wine, but you decide on the Sabbath, you know, a glass of wine. So I don't see nothing wrong with that. Because you maybe relaxing, coming down from a hard week or whatever, and you're sitting there and you turn on the Lord's music or put on an app that has the Lord, you playing it. I can't see anything wrong with that because you're making it about God. You know what I'm saying? You're making this about the Lord. Whereas on the other hand, you have a person that drinks every day, and now he's not going to sanctify the Lord's day. Well, you know, if I drink every day, then you know what? When Sabbath comes, now I'm gonna drink on Sabbath too. That's your pleasure? Are you sanctifying God? See, this is difference. Mm-hmm. There'd be a difference from one that do it every day, from one that do it once every blue moon. That's why when every man and woman must be persuaded in their own minds about certain things. And the book tells us, sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, right? And let him be your fear and let him be your dread, and he shall be for a sanctuary. So when everyone knows their own sore and their own grief, and you keep it real with yourself and you start sanctifying God, you apply it to the Sabbath day and be like, listen, we can go back because I just want to show you that they had to sanctify themselves when they went to go see the Lord. Couldn't even be with their wives. So all that pleasurable thing, look, when meeting the Lord, chill out, make it about God. That's the whole point I'm getting at. So now when we get back here to 58, it says, if thou wilt turn away thy foot from thy Sabbath, from doing thy own pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, it shouldn't be nothing grudging. If somebody say turn off TikTok, you shouldn't be like you're grudging now. You know what I'm saying? Or they turn off Facebook and put that down and put on nothing but an app that has to deal with the Bible. Until you go to sleep, the Lord said rest. You don't realize, even as a child, you don't realize how your mind is turning all the time, even faster than the older folks. Your mind's always going. I gotta find something to do. I gotta do something. We live in an age where children, you are much smarter than one of the average children that we had. But when I was coming up, our minds, you know how we got it going on. We used to write in letters. Because it wasn't, or we started playing a game, you know what I mean? The game started coming into play. But we did a lot of things with our mind. Like our imagination was able to run free. Whereas now, they got Facebook, they got the thing they put on your head, they got everything. Look at the children right here. They're going to be so savvy with computers. I didn't get savvy with computers I'm until later on. Where they're already 9, 10 years old, knowing how to do computer programs and all type of stuff like that. Like, yo, what, for real?
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's it.
Right. But see, the Lord's always calling you to slow down. Slow down. You can do all that later. You understand? Hey, make up something that has to do with the Lord. Make up a game with the Lord. Like he's trying to get your mind frame to get off of whatever I can do normally without it being an issue during the week. Make it about my God. Make it about me today. Who knows? He'll even put something on your heart and your mind to where you can even praise him. You know what I'm saying? And bring other people in to honor him and worship him the right way. You know, the book say out the mouth of childs and sucklings have the Lord perfected praise. You dig what I'm saying? Sometimes little children, you know what I mean, got things that grown-ups can learn about. So let's keep on going. Go ahead. Read 13 over again.
If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways,
right,
nor finding thine own pleasure,
What else?
Nor speaking thine own words,
Go ahead.
Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord.
When I first started getting into this, I cut my phone all the way off because I didn't know if somebody was going to call me on some old folly, and I get sucked in and dragged in. You know what we got to do with each other, with ourselves, brothers and sisters, for real? Sometimes you got to fool yourself. You got to fool yourself into doing what thus saith the Lord until you're able to do it on your own, so to speak. The heart is desperately what? And deceitful above what? I know that if I get on this phone, after I do certain things, and I start talking, it's going to lead to something else. And it's going to be a hard time for me to get off it. I know me. I know that I like to talk. I know that I like to explain things, and it can go both ways. It can either go this way with the book, or it can go this way with my pleasures. You understand? Mm-hmm. So when you come to know yourself, the Lord's calling you to know yourself, then you act accordingly with dealing with Him. This is something that's learned. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn yourself. You got to be real with yourself behind it. Pleasures, TikTok, probably so. If you ain't dealing with the Lord, somebody on TikTok dealing with God, which I doubt. I seriously doubt. But who knows? You know what I mean? I don't be on TikTok like that. But my wife sends me a lot of TikTok stuff. But I know that if it has to do with the Lord, that's what you deal with. Not finding thy own pleasure, nor seeking thy own words, then what?
Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord.
Yes.
And I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth,
And
feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father.
So then will you find yourself, then and only after that, you will find that what? Read that again.
Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth.
All right. So without going into specifics, you should know what your pleasures are, and you should abstain from those pleasures. Turn to 1 Corinthians. Where we at? I want to see. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry, it's Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians chapter 5.
Who's chapter 5?
Ephesians.
But these are things that we need to think on, like particularly pertaining to the Sabbath. You know what I mean? We should think about this all the time, but being that we're talking about the Sabbath, what your own pleasures are, these are some of the things that you can do on the Sabbath day. Verse 18, what does it say? 5 and 18, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And be not drunk with wine wherein excess, but be filled with the Spirit.
All right, we already talked about drinking, right? That's a pleasure, right? But the Lord said, don't be drunk with wine, but rather be filled with the Spirit, so you can be filled with the Spirit when? On the Lord's Sabbath day. Filled with the Word of God. Go ahead.
Speaking to yourselves in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs.
Oh, that's another thing we can do on the Sabbath day. Even for you by yourself, I'm speaking to myself in psalms, in hymns, in spiritual songs. What are we doing?
Singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord.
So you making it all about the Lord. I'm getting away from my own words. I'm getting away from my own thoughts and the things that I want to do. And I'm really earnestly trying to make this about God. Go ahead.
Giving thanks always for all things unto God and the Father in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ.
All right. Verse 6, read that say.
Let no man deceive you with vain words.
So what he's talking about, any man, not even yourself. Ain't you a man or woman? Don't even deceive yourself with vain words. Why?
For because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience.
All right. Keep going.
But not ye there be not ye therefore partakers with them. For ye were sometimes darkness.
Right.
But now are ye light in the Lord. Walk as children of light.
All right, so that's what we're supposed to do, right? Go ahead.
For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth.
All right, good. Go to 1 John chapter 5. You're supposed to delight yourself in the Lord, right? And pick it up at verse 3. What does it say?
For this is the love of God
That
we keep his commandments.
And what?
And his commandments are not grievous.
So make sure that whatever you do is not grievous to the Lord. Then you're going to find yourself delighting yourself in the Lord. Okay? No man can serve two masters. All right? Either you will hold to the one and hate the other one, or you'll despise one and have another one, even yourself. So it's like you start forcing yourself and you start doing what thus say the Lord. Sing them songs. Put on something that's going to have you dealing with the Lord. And whatever else, you wait until Sunday or the end of the Sabbath to start dealing with it, as long as it's within the guidelines of the Lord. Okay? Is that straight for you, sister?
Yes. And I had, there was another question.
Okay. Maybe there's another answer for you.
Go
ahead.
If the Lord comes back before you have gotten baptized, will your sins be still taken into account?
Ooh. Well, the judgment is of the Lord. So you have to understand that can go right along the lines with, well, what if somebody didn't get baptized before the Lord came back? You know that's going to happen, right? So the judgments of the Lord is the Lord's, you know. So it's like, you know, there's a point in time for everything. So when the Lord comes back, it's going to be people that haven't got baptized, you know. Can they be saved? More than likely, yeah. What's my example? Anybody got an example of that? Man didn't get baptized.
The Ethiopian?
He got baptized.
The guy on the cross before he died.
Boom. Boom. Right there. Right there. The Lord on the cross, right there. He had the two malefactors on each side of him, right? And he said, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom, right? And he said, I tell you this day that you shall be with me in paradise. Not that you're going to be with me in paradise today, but I'm telling you today that when I come into my kingdom, you're going to be there. Ooh, that's right there. He didn't get baptized, did he?
No.
Did he take the Passover?
Mm-mm. True.
He probably was, but it's not written because but because they're in Judea. But like you said, you can't read that, so it's like it's there to chance. But what we do see is that man definitely didn't get baptized. You know what I'm saying? And he definitely didn't take the Passover. You know what I'm saying?
He was in prison, right? They crucified him the same day. So.
Really, I don't even know if he's yeah, because he was like, maybe. They are killing people left and right?
But it's kind of like what you said the last time.
Huh?
And there is no age limit to get baptized, is there? 'Cause
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Suffer children come on down?
Well, yeah, but they got to be at the age of accountability. You understand?
Is it not like after 20 years?
20 years is the age of accountability.
I mean, how old are you now? 16, right?
14.
You're still a baby.
Yeah, you can't.
Christ come now, you gone.
You're under your mother right now, and even though your father's not in the book like that, but he said you're under your mother. He over your children. Like I said, the believing woman, sanctify or separate the children. The children are sanctified. You know what I'm saying? If you believe in man, the children are sanctified because God has order. You understand? When
It's like
the
sorry, go ahead.
no. What you got to say, bro?
It's like the judgment, like what happened to, it's like the guy Haman, how him and his whole family got killed.
Oh man, and
With Korah.
yeah. So it's the same principles. You know what I'm saying? Because if the man, check this out, and let's go to Exodus. Let's go to Exodus 12. Let's go to Exodus 12. Exodus 12 and pick it up at verse 1 and read. And mind you, the fathers, they the ones that had to do this. So that's why you gotta understand the covering that the man has. What are they supposed to do for the Passover? And look, if the father didn't do that, what's gonna happen to the household? What if there was no father in the household? What the woman gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Read.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying,
What?
This month shall be unto you the beginning of months, and it shall be the first month of the year to you.
Go ahead.
Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house.
Go ahead. So the
And-
man is doing that, right?
A man.
So you had the woman there, which is his wife, right? And then the children. The children are part of that man, right? In that household. So listen, the man's the one that's covering that whole family. So if he don't do this, if he didn't do this, then guess what? The family's uncovered, and then what's going to happen when the death angel come through? It's going to take the firstborn, right? The child. So this had to happen. When they went through the Red Sea, what is that a form of?
Baptism.
Baptism, right? Baptizing the whole nation, right? But the children, what about the suckling children? They ain't understand nothing, but they was underneath the guise of their father, right? So they already sanctified because the father had understanding. So what the Roman Catholic Church does is, hey, they say that a child can be christened, but you can't read in the Bible, or baptized. We don't read that in the Bible. Now, what we do see in the Bible is when Samuel, was it Samuel or Jeremiah? Which one did Hannah have? Samuel, right? She dedicated Samuel to God, to the priest, you know what I'm saying? So, but as far as him being like baptized or anything, no, she just dedicated the child back to the Lord. You know what I mean? So a bunch of the religions take things like that and then they build a whole doctrine off it. You know what I mean? Trying to say that, I'm gonna rededicate my child to God like he's already is anyway. But, I'm gonna go ahead and put him underneath the water. No, that's not biblical. Because in order for you to go through the water, brothers and sisters, you have to have understanding. Because that is a part of a covenant, which God deals with, right? So, and part of the covenant says that for males, on the 8th day, right? If you're a male in Israel, what's supposed to happen?
Get circumcised.
Does a child know that?
No.
Who knows that? The understanding father that got understanding. Child don't know nothing. That's why we don't. The child has to know what they're doing in order to get into the covenant, because it's a covenant. Any male child that's not circumcised on the 8th day, you have broken the covenant, right? The child didn't know. What's my proving on this? When the Lord called Moses to go back to get the people out of Israel, right? He knew he was an Israelite. He knew he grew up with, his parents were Levites. They knew what was going on. But guess what happened? The Lord just told him, go back, I'm going to use you. But then he sought to kill him. Why?
Because he didn't circumcise the son.
He didn't seek to kill the kids, right? He wanted to kill the father because he should have known better. That's why children have to know what they're doing. And the age of accountability is when? From 20 years and up. Where we get that from? When the children of Israel was in the wilderness. Where is that located at? That's in the Torah. What is the Torah? Instruction. That's the law. So everything got to go by the law. That's it.
Very well explained.
All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High God.
Were there widows at that time?
More than likely. But that's why,
Who assumed the responsibility of a widow, or someone went to war, their husband died?
well, those judgments didn't come until after. No. It's here in Exodus. It tells you all that, because it tells you all that stuff after they get out into the land. You get told the law. Now, these are the judgments on how you're supposed to conduct yourself with your people. That, as soon as you get out of Exodus, why was it? Read first. Let's deal with this lamb for your people. Read verse 5. No. Read verse 4.
And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls.
So there it is. So like, what if there was somebody that didn't have a cover? You go with your neighbor. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
It's going to be somebody to help you out with this whole situation. You know what I'm saying? So now, after they get out, of, they get into the wilderness. Go to Exodus 21. So what happens in Exodus 20? Exodus 20, the Lord comes and audibly speaks the commandments. So he puts the covenant on the table and he speaks it to the people. People get all shook up. Lord, no, I wasn't ready. Call Moses and be like, yo, Moses, you talk to us. Let the Lord die. He did that so that he can bring the fear upon him. All right. So now, all right, we'll do everything that you say to do. Now, he's going to start teaching them how to conduct themselves in the new land that they're in. Read Exodus 21:1. What it says.
Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou...
See? So now these are the judgments which you shall set before them. Let's see. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing.
So look how he's starting off. He was already serving in Egypt, right? And he already know that we still might have this situation come into play here, but he's going to show you how not to rule with rigor, although there's going to be servants in the kingdom. But he's already starting you off right here. All right? That's why when Jacob with Laban, you know what I'm saying, he served him all these years and everything, he's supposed to have gave him something. And Laban, really, he was like, when he came, he was like, yo, why are you taking away these are my children. These are my daughters. Like, remember, if you're a Hebrew and you're serving somebody, and the master, he gives you a wife, and he gives you a wife. Why during your servitude, he was like, yo, if you came in here by yourself, when you leave them by yourself. Even if I gave you a wife, that's where it comes into play. Like, all right, well, if you love your master and you want to stay there with him, then he gonna take you and get a awl and bore it through your ear and say you're gonna be a master forever, at least until the 50th year or so. Keep reading. Read verse 2 again.
If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If he came in by himself,
Right.
he shall go out by himself.
Go ahead.
If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him.
Mm-hmm.
If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself.
Let's go look at it real fast. Go to Genesis 31. Go to Genesis 31. 31 and 43. What it say?
And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, These daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle, and all that thou seest is mine.
Go ahead.
And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children which they have borne?
But nonetheless, he's like, man, they mine. But what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sit here and keep them, you know what I mean, for myself. But in all rights, he's like, yo, these are my daughters. Yeah, I know you work, but these are my daughters. These are my children. Remember, look what the Lord just said back here in Exodus about the judgments and how one's supposed to be. If a Hebrew if thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years shall he serve, and in the 7 he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. But we know he worked 7 years for Leah, right? No, worked 7 years for Leah, and then got
7 years for Rachel, and then got Leah.
Got Leah. Right. But then he had to work another 7 years. You know what I mean? And then he worked for a whole another 7 years. There's 21 years he was there with him. He already should have been gone, right? So this happened before everything came into play. A lot of things that happened, the Lord put laws on it so that we wouldn't go back and do it. It's more like, I'm gonna show y'all what happened to y'all forefathers. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna put these laws in effect, and they already been here, but it's gonna be more. You'll understand why you're not supposed to be with a woman and her sister within her lifetime. Go back and look and see what happened with your forefather when they is buying each other for cakes and for mandrake and stuff like that, and vexing each other and doing all that. You see why you shouldn't have that? You know what I mean? The Lord gave you the example in Genesis, in Exodus, Leviticus, and Deuteronomy. You know what I mean? He gave you the law on why. He show you why not to do this, so you can get understanding, get knowledge, get wisdom, but get understanding. Let's see some more stuff. Read verse 10. No. Read verse 7. What is that? Exodus 21:7. These are judgments now. These are the judgments that God is telling the people, the children of Israel. When you get ready to go into your land, this is how you're going to conduct yourselves around each other. You're not going to be like how you were in Egypt. And you're not going to be like the people where you're going to. You're going to keep my laws, my statutes, and my judgments, how you deal with everybody. So go ahead.
And if a man sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the maidservants do. Servants do.
Yeah.
If she please not her master, who hath betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her unto a strange nation, he shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her.
Look how the Lord's saying that. Go ahead.
And if he hath betrothed her unto his son,
so he bought a maidservant and he betrothed her to her son. What happened?
He shall deal with her after the manner of daughters.
You ain't gonna be dealing with her like some type of second class citizen. She was a servant at first, but you gave it to her son, then you treat her like a daughter-in-law. All right? That's what he's saying to him. Go ahead.
If he take him another wife,
and if your son take another wife, what happened?
Her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish.
So look, she was a servant, right? And the man get another woman that wasn't a servant, but she's like another wife. The servants, which is the first wife, her food, her raiment, and everything. You know, somebody gets something new, like I forget about the old joint. No, that's he's dealing deceitful. But look, the Lord gave remedy for the situation, though. What did he say?
And if he do not these three,
if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and what?
And her duty of marriage,
what
shall he not diminish?
So now you're going into the other woman all the time. Well, what about her? What about your first wife? We read in Corinthians. Corinthians, what it say? You should render unto each other due benevolence, right? Due benevolence. That's supposed to happen. All right? What if he don't do these things? What's that happen?
And if he do not these three unto her,
then what?
Then shall she go out free without money.
All right, well, she was a servant, right? So if you're a servant, How many years are you supposed to deal with? 6 years, correct?
6 years.
6 years, and in the 7th year you can be
Free.
and be gone.
Is this
A lot of people be like trying to use this, like Israel be trying to use this to try to get out of their marriage. Like, nah, nah, ladies, you can't get out your marriage like this. Well, he's not providing for me. I'm sorry you feel that way. You wasn't a servant when you came in this
I'm
joint.
about to say, was she a servant?
You guys said you wasn't a servant when you came up in this joint. No. You were, for lack of better word, y'all was like on the eat and kill, so to speak. You were not a servant.
Sarah and Abraham.
Like Hagar?
Is
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
kind of
Yeah,
Is that what we can kind of see here?
absolutely.
Right.
That's why she had to get up and go.
But the angel, she said she was the one who, because he said she's yours. You know.
Yeah, he's like,
whatever
yeah, do what you want to do with your
Like,
servant.
I want her out.
Okay.
Could he have said no?
Yeah,
Oh.
absolutely. He absolutely could have said that. Although she was his servant, Hagar
So
was
she
her
had that
servant.
say because she was the main.
But-
She was like, because now there's a distinction in roles here. Like in the sense of Hagar, she had his child and everything, but
She the main wife.
his main joint, feel me, was got more respect.
She got more power.
Yeah.
She got more power than somebody else. Yeah, that's the only way. That's the best way you can. That's the best way you can put it. You know what I'm saying? Like she topped off. I mean, as far as like,
Because then she called like, I'm calling the supervisor, God, like, tell God on you. And he was like, oh, like, nah. Like,
you saying that?
she was like, all right, let God be judge between us. And
Oh.
he was like, oh, like, nah, this is your thing.
Nah, this you, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
almost like, not a fear, but like, he ain't wanted to go to God.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary. Like, yo, this is
But
you.
then the angel-
God wasn't. Hold on. God wasn't in it when you was like, here, take this, take her. That was you. You know what I'm saying? But you won't bring God into it for her. You know what I'm saying? Like you came up with, hey man, I feel less than a woman. I can't increase the kingdom because I'm barren. Well, here's my handmaid, so you can increase your kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Abraham was like, okay. You know, he's like, okay. But that wasn't the plan. The plan was, the Lord said, you're going to have one by your wife, your the bosom, your rib. So, you know, God had respect on it because it was his son. You know what I'm saying? And it was, and look at this. He took his son, like that's his rib, but I mean his seed. But Sarah was like, "Yo, get this woman and the boy out of here. He's not going to be part of my what's his name." Abraham was like, "Okay," gave him a care package and sent him on his way.
Right. But then the angel, so was that from the Lord? Because the angel said, don't worry, because she was crying, and she was like, yo, where I'm gonna go? And the angel came and was like, I got you. So was that from the Lord? Because that scenario, because the woman took it upon herself and told him, like, yo, take this handmaid. But the blueprint was, he was like, yo, you're gonna have your seat. But then that didn't go according to plan. But then all the way at the end, when she got sent off, because of the wishes of the woman, she still got protected.
I'm not understanding what you're asking me.
I'm
Sir.
just clarifying.
About Hagar, right?
Right.
That's what you're asking?
I don't understand.
Like,
Who
was
got
that
sent
God?
away, but then she got protected by the angel.
She was being.
Like meaning, like, don't worry. When she got sent off from the wife,
But I'm saying, what are you asking me?
I'm just clarifying, like that's.
What are you
the chain.
clarifying, sir? You're clarifying what?
I'm just like going over it and make sure I got it right. As far as the
Okay.
chain of events, like meaning, because I'm looking at the order and the orders of the chain of commands that came into power through this. Because we just read the law and it's talking about this happens, blah blah, don't diminish. But I'm looking at the positions of each of the roles and who said what and how and everything transpired. Because she was, she told them she wanted this to happen.
Abraham said, "Do what you're supposed to do."
Right.
All right. So what's the issue?
There is no issue.
All right. All right. No. All right. So do what you got to do. Well, my judgment is send the boy away. He like, all right. He gave him a care package and going. Now, what he said is that from the Lord. I don't
The
know.
protection of the angel coming in said, don't worry, Hagar, I got you, because technically he sent her away.
The angel
the angel ain't got nothing to do with.
Back in.
Yeah, the angel don't have nothing to do with what God got. He's just a messenger. You know what I mean?
No.
So
That's why I say it came from God.
so
The looking out of Hagar.
let's read it. Let's read it. Let's read it. Who yeah, you know what I mean? Like who's she talking to? You know what I'm saying? That's what the
When they were in the desert, right?
yeah. Go to Genesis 16.
Okay.
Read start at 1. We're gonna read it. We read all the way down into it, so we can answer the question because don't nothing happen. No. We straight, brother. We straight. We on the same page. No, I'm saying that so that we can just go all the way through. You know what I'm saying? So you can see it. That's it. Read verse 1.
Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold now, the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid.
Dang. Hold on. So she's like, man, women today
That would not
are
happen
so
today.
far from that. She's like, please, I beg you. I can't have no child. Please go into this.
Here she is over here.
Can you imagine this? We so far from this, but go ahead.
It may be that I may obtain children by her.
Right.
And Abram,
So she said that's a surrogate, right?
yes,
That's a surrogate mother, correct?
yeah.
They actually do surrogates right now, right? But guess what? She has the child, but whose child is it? It's Sarah's child. You dig? Look what just happened right here. That's further letting you know that what your life ain't your own. Like the way they had it set up in the day, like we are so far gone from how God got it set up. Like we could arrange men could arrange marriages right now. Hey. Yeah, my son is gonna marry your daughter. You know what I mean? Me and you done came up with that. Unbeknownst to them, like what does it matter? Like, oh, Dad, you think about me for a little bit? No, you are honoring your father. And what you're going to do is you're going to be a good wife because you're not going to tarnish my name. You dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Son, you're going to do what you're supposed to do. We are so far gone from honoring our fathers and mothers. Nah, you got your own life to live. No, man, a good name is better to be had than choice silver. Your reputation and stuff like that. So far gone from that. So anyway, she says what now? She said, and Sarah said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid, right? And it may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of his wife. Go ahead.
And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram.
Ain't that something?
To be his wife.
Yeah, I know you've been taking care of me for a little while. You've been doing what I'm asking you to do. Here, I got another thing for you to do. Here, go sleep with my husband. What did the servant do?
And he,
Okay, he old too.
yeah. And he is old.
He is old.
He is
you know what I mean? Like he ain't no young jit. You know what I'm saying? He even. I'm just because I want you to.
Back then wasn't old like now.
Yeah, that's true too. Abram probably was like, I said, pick this old joint up, like.
It's true.
But yeah, they're eating better and everything.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, these are a lot of hang-ups and stuff that women would probably be undesirable with. Well, I got to sleep with this dude. Well, what do he look like? What do he got? You know what I'm saying? It didn't even matter. You know what I mean? Like, you are a servant. It's just different. Go ahead. So y'all crazy too. Y'all funny.
But she did this well strictly in age, not when she was in the 80s or 60s.
Who, Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wonder what. I don't even know. Hagar seemed like she was young. You know what I'm saying? And I can't read for sure how old she was, but
If she was able to have.
she's obviously able
old
to
enough.
have children. That's easy earlier.
Yeah.
But watch. So
And he,
verse 4, what it say?
And he went he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived.
Uh-huh.
And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
Yeah.
And Sarai said unto Abram, My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid unto thy bosom, and when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarai, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face.
Now what did the angel of the Lord say?
And the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way of Shur.
Go ahead.
And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence camest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai.
Ain't it something how the angels be talking to people back in the day like that? You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like me and you sitting here talking. I want to both tell you, be careful with the entertaining strangers. Sometimes entertaining angels unaware. But go ahead, keep reading.
And the angel of the Lord said unto her,
What she said?
Return to thy mistress.
Now hold up. So now you asked the question, right? About who did that? Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Like the angel of the Lord. So the Lord is telling her to the angel, look, turn back to your mistress. Go ahead, keep reading.
And submit thyself under her hands.
Still submit yourself under your hand because you got a job to do. And Ishmael gonna have a job to do. Ishmael gonna be here. Ishmael gotta be here. What? God gonna give him 12 sons, 12 princes, right?
Princes, yeah.
He gonna stay in the midst of the land where he is even until this day, right? He gonna be amongst his brethren. Who's his brethren? They are. That's Ishmael are the Arabs, right? But who else is there? Isn't Esau there?
Esau's there.
And both of them are going to be fighting over a land that's not theirs. See, this is all prophecy coming into play. You know what I'm saying? So we got our cousins and our uncles sitting over there fighting over our land, and we want a piece of American pie. It's crazy. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hands.
Right.
And the angel of the Lord said unto her,
What?
I will multiply.
Now, look. She told her first. So look, she told her first. But I want to read in the 17 and see what the Lord is going to say to Abram. Because he's going to say, I heard, because Abram going to ask him, hey, man, look, I'm already getting old. Why don't you let Ishmael walk before you? The Lord going to be like, yo, I heard you about Ishmael. I'm going to make him great. But you will conceive from Sarah, your wife. You know what I'm saying? So now go ahead, keep on reading.
And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude.
Go ahead.
And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael.
Oh man, look at there. So where did Ishmael's name come from?
The angel.
All right. This one makes some things plain. Go ahead.
Because the Lord hath heard thy affliction.
He heard your affliction. That's what his name means. Go ahead.
And he will be a wild man.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you something else about this dude, too. What else?
His hand will be against every man.
And what?
And every man's hand against him.
That's all right. You know, cats be going through. They say some old wild John, and he going to blow himself up and come, bam, run right through here. Ah! Go on. All right, go ahead.
And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren.
So where's he at now? Even to this day, and he's still over in the land. All right, now let's skip over here. Let's see what Abraham said. What did it say online?
This from T. Israel. Why do we start the 50-day count of Pentecost on April 24th instead of the week prior, April 17th?
On April 24th instead of the week prior. Why we start on the week prior? When did we It gotta be after
The feast.
the morrow after the Sabbath. It would start on.
49, 7 weeks.
The morrow after the Sabbath. That's where we have to be at. So it means that Jesus is the first fruits, correct? You're the first fruits. And with this year, in particular, when did we have this? You said it started on the 24th?
Yeah, she said it started on the 24th. Why didn't it start the week prior, the 17th?
Let me see. Oh yeah, for the 3 days. That's why. You had the Passover, correct? This is on the 15th, right? This is where Christ passed away, where he's on the cross, right? He in the grave, right? You got to count 3 days and 3 nights. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so he had to resurrect. We have it on the calendar. He had to resurrect on the 18th, right? Which is the 3rd day, right? It had already been, you know, he's already passed the Passover. I mean, he's passed the Sabbath day. He's already passed, just going with this in particular, he's passed the Sabbath day already. So now, what has to happen? Because he didn't make it within the guidelines of last week, you got to wait until the following Sabbath day. That's why we started it on the 24th, which would be that Sunday. Because you had to wait until tomorrow. He had to be gone 3 days and 3 nights. And you had to count that. You had to count them 3 days and 3 nights. And if it would have fell, let's say it would have did it, if it would have been, if he would have resurrected on the 13th, if he would have resurrected anywhere like on the 13th, then guess what? He could have did it on the 17th. But he resurrected on the 18th. You know what I mean? According to if it was this year, he resurrected on the 18th. So it was already past the Sabbath, past the 17th. So that's why we couldn't do it. We had to wait until the next Sabbath came, which would have been the 23rd, and then we make the start on the 24th, which is the day after the Sabbath. It's just like that. It's that simple. Just that simple, sis. People always have I'm glad Brother Elijah put this on there, on the calendar, so to make it better for us. It really has to do with the harvest, no matter when you got your crop. You know what I'm saying? However you got your crop, if it was always after, you had to count, like the count had to start always 3 days and 3 nights after you received your crop. If the crop got received on that Friday, you couldn't deal with it until after the following Sabbath, because the 3 days and 3 nights didn't happen within them guidelines. You know what I'm saying? So it couldn't do it. Anything else?
That was the one.
It's about that time. Y'all ready? All right. Ain't nothing else.
Yeah, I thought it was early.
Funny how time flies when you're having fun. There you go, right? All right, any other questions? You know, we got some of our brothers and sisters we on in various places all over Israel Church of Jesus. I'm on Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. It's called Truth Uncut. You can get questions answered there and give you some bread of life that you can deal with. I'm on, Lord willing, every day of the week, except for on weekend. So I pray you were edified in Jesus' name. We're going to stand and face Jerusalem and close out. Oh, good. We're back. And then the 24th. Oh, what?
We're back to Hampton next week, and you're back here
On
on the 28th.
the 28th. Okay, good. Because on the line it says the 24th. Is it good next week?
No, it says the 14th and the 28th. That's my mean. It says the 14th and the 28th.
And the 28th? I seen the 24th on there today. But maybe something else crazy. But all right.
Wait, so it's here today,
Yes,
there
ma'am.
next week, back here the week after.
And the week after? All right, beautiful. Okay.
Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come.
thy will be done,
Thy will be done.
in earth
In earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread.
and forgive us our debts,
And forgive us our debts
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
In Jesus' name,
In Jesus' name.
amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you. Oh my gosh, you got it.
No, all right.
If anybody don't have a calendar, get it in the back.
Right, you're right. You gotta do stuff about it.
Everybody make sure y'all clean up y'all stuff, please. Please. Can I please play with you, please? Stop being silly.